Welcome back, everyone. So in the last few videos, we talked about networking and we understood more about some of the logical models and the communication protocols between systems and computers, specifically over the internet. In this video, we're going to start diving back into the actual components in our system and starting with load balancers. Now, in order to do a deeper dive into load balancers, we need to talk about proxies. So what is a proxy? A proxy is essentially a new component that helps us achieve some specific goal. And there's two types of proxies, which we'll cover. To begin with, in order to understand it, we need to reestablish a diagram, a very simple one though. On the left-hand side here, you see different types of clients. So whether they're tablets, phones, browsers, etc., I want you to see it as the users that could be trying to access our servers. So the users will try and access it always through the internet because we're talking about web applications here. And on the right-hand side here, we have the servers that represent the different application servers or job servers that we have. That part doesn't really matter. It's just whatever hosts our actual application. Now, a proxy, there are two types. There are forward proxies, and then there are reverse proxies. But we'll first start with a forward proxy. The proxy is something that sits between the clients and the internet on the left-hand side. So it's not in our system. It's on the client side. What this proxy will do is it will communicate between the clients and the proxy and the internet. So the clients now will never directly access the internet. They'll have to access it through the proxy. From here, after the proxy sends the request to the internet then forwards these requests to our servers in our system, and that part is completely irrelevant to the proxy. The main thing about the proxy is that the proxy will hide the details about the client, or at least it can, from the internet and the servers. The main thing you need to think about a proxy is that because it sits in front of the clients before it accesses the internet, it can modify all of these requests. It can change them, it can update them, it can hide details about them. And the main thing is that the internet and our servers that see these requests, they will see them all come from the proxy, not necessarily from the clients. Now, the proxy can forward the details of the client if it wants to, but the main thing is that the proxy has full control over the requests coming from the client now. So what the proxy can do is it can actually modify those requests. It can even essentially lock out access to a lot of different websites to the client because all of the requests are being seen by the proxy and the proxy has full control over them. That's a forward proxy. Companies use them in order to block websites from being accessible by users, maybe to protect some data. Schools use them so that students can't access things that aren't education related a lot of times. Proxies are used in many organizations for different purposes, but that's what a forward proxy is. For our intents and purposes, we care about a reverse proxy, where the proxy lives on our side, inside of our system. In this example, the clients access the internet, or maybe they access a forward proxy. It doesn't matter. The main thing here is that the reverse proxy lives on our side of the system. The internet will send those client requests to our proxy before it enters and hits our servers. The proxy will then forward the requests to the correct server in order for whatever behavior to happen. Now here, the main advantage for us is that because the proxy is the entry point into our system now from any of the requests from the clients, all the actual clients will see, or the internet will see when it gets responses back, is that anything comes from the proxy. So we can hide any details about where our servers are, location related. Maybe we can modify some of this data all on the proxy. And there are other advantages of a reverse proxy for us other than just hiding the details. So some of the things about the reverse proxy that we can do is if you are keen, might have realized that this proxy kind of behaves in a similar way to a load balancer because it's receiving all the requests as an entry point, and then it's forwarding these requests to the servers. So isn't this really similar to a load balancer? Well, this is actually very true. In a diagram where there's a load balancer that then forwards the requests and manages the load, but you can absolutely use a reverse proxy as a load balancer. In fact, many load balancers are reverse proxies. So let me give you an example. An example of a proxy software is Nginx. Many systems will use Nginx as a load balancer as well as a reverse proxy. So for many intents and purposes, that is one of the benefits of using a reverse proxy as a load balancer, is that you get the other benefits that come with it, such as caching. You can actually cache a lot of what you need to deliver to clients on the proxy. So before we talked about how there's a caching service that we can utilize inside of our system design. That caching layer can actually be the proxy as well. We can cache some information on the proxy so that when we receive requests, we just forward them from the proxy. And that is way faster than having to forward the requests from the proxy to the servers and then the servers doing their long-winded thing of gathering that required build in order to send those files across. So that's another advantage of using a proxy. You get the benefits of a load balancer, but you also get the benefits of said proxy. So now that we understand reverse proxies and load balancing, generally speaking, in many systems that we design, we're probably going to use a reverse proxy as a load balancer. So when you think about a load balancer, you can also think about using a reverse proxy in that place. Even beyond the caching benefits as well as some of the security benefits of using a proxy, the other advantage a proxy has over a load balancer is that a load balancer requires there to be numerous servers for it to be useful, because a load balancer needs to manage the load across multiple servers. But you can get the benefits of a proxy even if there's just a singular server, because you still get access to the caching and you still get access to the obfuscation of our actual servers from the clients. So for all intents and purposes moving forward, the majority of the time when I talk about load balancer, now I'm just talking about using a reverse proxy in that place. So there we go. Let's talk now about some load balancing strategies, because we're diving back into load balancers. So join me in the next video where we'll talk about that.